It's official, guys. The Lenovo Legion Go is officially the first third-party gaming handheld that runs SteamOS right out of the box, other than the Steam Deck. This is a massive deal. Let's get into it. I've laced okay. But before we get into the video, guys, check all the links down below in the video description for the best tech you could find, hands down. We've got all the best tech of the year, all the best PS5 Pro accessories and PS5 accessories, all the best Steam Deck accessories if that's your thing, and the best coffee ever made by mankind with nootropic mushrooms that just improves your health. And talking of health, if you want to invest in your sleep and your health overall, the best smart ring that tracks your sleep and tracks basically a bunch of body metrics for you, the Ultra Human Ring Air. Use my links down below to save money right now. Click them, click them, click them. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the video. So guys, the Lenovo Legion Go S is official. $499 buys you the first authorized third-party SteamOS handheld. This is a massive deal, and I cannot wait to try this out and can't wait to see it in action. So Valve basically worked with Lenovo to make it a reality, though there is a Windows version too. So if you are prone to enjoying Windows and third-party online multiplayer games like Call of Duty Warzone and games that have DRM and online anti-cheat, then don't worry, you should be able to run Windows as well. You should be able to dual boot it first of all, and then they also sell a Windows version. So don't panic if you're wanting a Lenovo Legion Go that doesn't have detachable controllers, and you want to be able to play on a smaller form factor, right? So let's take a look at the article from The Verge. Lenovo's trying an experiment. In May, it will officially become the very first company outside of Valve to ship handheld gaming PC with the Steam Deck's wonderfully pick up and play SteamOS instead of Microsoft Windows. And at $499, it'll be a true Steam Deck rival, joining it as one of the lower priced PC handhelds you can buy. This is awesome. That handheld will be a 1.6-pound Lenovo Legion Go S, a new and improved version of the company's 8-inch handheld that ditches the Nintendo Switch like detachable gamepads and kickstand for a lighter and more traditional design, a sculpted grip that felt supremely comfortable in The Verge's hands. And as you can see here, here's some of the pictures The Verge took, right? Obviously, looks very nice. No detachable Joy-Con. I prefer that. I'm not a fan of detachable Joy-Cons. I never find myself using them. I like the little mouse feature that was on the Lenovo Legion Go, but not enough to have detachable Joy-Cons. It just felt a little bit cramped to me. But yeah, it looks really nice. I wish they'd went for a traditional D-pad here. Hopefully those are Hall sensor sticks. That looks like a fingerprint sensor. Hopefully maybe it's got Windows Hello or some sort of Touch ID login thing. That'd be kind of cool. Buttons look good. Looks very comparable to the Steam Deck. I wonder if that's a touchpad actually. A really small touchpad. Maybe it looks like an afterthought. Obviously the back here, no more kickstand. It looks like it's got 2 back buttons. I wonder what this is, like a trigger thing that maybe adjusts the like how much the triggers go down, kind of like those Xbox Pro controllers, PlayStation Pro controllers. I don't know, but anyways, looks really nice. Looks reminiscent of an MSI claw, doesn't it? But yeah, oh, USB-C ports, 2 USB-C ports on the top here. Look at that, 2 USB-C ports. So you could technically use one for charging and then use one for an eGPU, or you can use one to maybe add an external SSD with and also charge it at the same time for extra storage. So really nice that they've included options here. I love when, you know, handheld consoles have more than one USB-C port, because I have a lot of uses for them, so it's nice to see. And hopefully it's USB-C 4. So it looks like they've copied the Steam Deck in somewhat, but they put the micro SD card on the bottom here. Nothing else, no other USB-C port on the bottom. It's a little bit taller than the Steam Deck by the looks of it, but it looks very ergonomic overall. I kind of like the look of it. So it's got 120 Hz display. We'll talk about the specs. It's got 120 Hz variable refresh rate screen. And I've went on and on about VRR in general in the past. Basically, it just makes games feel more smooth, especially when you've got fluctuations in frame rate. Maybe a game going down to 20 FPS, 25, up to 40, up and down, up and down. You're not really getting that stuttery feeling, right? With VRR, it just smooths everything out. Everything glides along like butter, and I love it. So the fact that they've got that is a massive win. It's going to be a lower resolution, 1920 by 1200, and it will hopefully use the power-sipping AMD Ryzen Z2 Go chip. It's a Lenovo exclusive chip, by the way. So Lenovo's got their own exclusive chip here. Here's a little video on The Verge. Let's take a look at it. Look at that, very nice. I love the grips on the back of it. It looks almost as comfortable as a Steam Deck. $499. That's pretty damn competitive. So yeah, Lenovo's hedging its bets a little bit. They're making a Windows version and a SteamOS version just to see which one sells more. And I think this could be a tipping point. I think if this is like the litmus test, right? If everybody who buys this thing chooses the SteamOS option, I think it will spur on a lot more competitive. It'll spur on a lot more competitors to go the same route and release SteamOS versions or variants. I'd love to see Asus and the ROG Ally, Ally X release a SteamOS version, and I hope that they consider people that might want to dual boot. Right? Obviously, if we could slap a 2 terabyte SSD in here, it would be nice to have the option to dual boot Windows and SteamOS. I think that would be a must, and I really hope Lenovo are working on that with Valve. Valve obviously haven't done a great job of making that easy on the Steam Deck, although I have mine dual booted. You can do it. It's not rocket science to dual boot your Steam Deck with Windows and SteamOS, but I really hope Lenovo's put a little bit more effort into making that happen. So it's going to have RGB around the sticks. It's going to have an 8-inch display, and I kind of like that. You know, it's got an 8-inch display. I love the 7-inch display in the Steam Deck. I do wish it was a little bit bigger, especially after playing the Lenovo Legion Go, right? So, you know, it seems like they've really stretched out that display as far as they can to the borders of the tablet portion. I think that's a massive win. I wish more manufacturers did that. I hate having a big chunky black bezel around. I want them to maximize this. I want them to have a form factor like the Steam Deck, but stretch out the display as big as they can in that form factor to maybe get 8 inches, 8.5, and beyond maybe, depending on how thin they make the bezels. Because I think the Steam Deck, as nice as it is, and I'm okay with the bezels on the Steam Deck, I feel like they could have made them a little bit bigger. Once you experience a larger display on a form factor similar to the Steam Deck, it's hard to go back to the 7 inches, right? It's going to have a slightly larger 55 watt-hour battery, a pair of levers to reduce the throw of the triggers, and a less obtrusive touchpad. So that'll be good for competitive gaming. Less obtrusive touchpad, so it does have a touchpad. Very nice. That wasn't a fingerprint sensor, and while retaining the dual USB 4 ports. So again, I really love the fact that it has 2 USB 4 ports. First of all, no proprietary graphic connector. I'm looking at you, Asus. Well, the original ROG Ally X. No one's going to buy a proprietary graphics card, right? I'm glad that this thing supports eGPUs. So if you're wanting to use this thing as maybe like a fully fledged desktop gaming PC, hook up to an external GPU, but maybe a 5090 or something that's coming out. That was also nice recently. You can, and it's, you know, the only bottleneck really is the data bandwidth between USB-C and USB-C 4. So that is a massive win. That's a massive win, right? You can dock your Lenovo Legion Go S to the graphics card, an external graphics card, and then obviously connect it up to your monitor and use it as a fully fledged gaming PC if you want to. I think options like that are really good. Not everyone's going to go that route, but it's nice to have it as an option, right? Here it is alongside the Lenovo Legion Go. Actually, I'm surprised it's as big as the Lenovo Legion Go. When I saw it with this, you know, in front of the Steam Deck there, or behind the Steam Deck, I was actually surprised. I thought it was smaller. The Lenovo Legion Go is pretty darn big. It seems like they really did a good job of shrinking down the bezels, huh? That is nice. Oh wait, hold on. See, that's a little bit weird. How the bezel at the bottom is a little bit taller than the one at the top. Oh, that's kind of weird. Obviously, we've got vents in the back. We've got the back buttons. Obviously, you can change the throw of the triggers there. I don't know why they needed to like embezzle the branding in like that into the case and make it so obvious. Looks very much like an ROG Ally. I'm not a fan of the circular D-pads, but that's kind of cool. White, it is white. Oh, it seems like they're going for white with the Windows version and black for the SteamOS version. I think for the black casing alone, I would probably choose the SteamOS version and then worry about dual booting or installing Windows on it after that. Sorry, I paused the video there. I don't know what I recorded or what I was speaking about. But anyways, what I was saying was obviously it's looking really nice, and it's looking like the Windows version's white, SteamOS version's black, and the Windows version actually has a two-tone design. So if you look over here, the top of the Windows version, even though it's white, it's on the front. It's black on the top, black triggers, so they're going for a two-tone sort of design. I'm not a massive fan of white consoles just because I feel like they age badly. You remember all the 90s handhelds like the Game Boy and stuff. They start off nice and light gray and then they get yellowed over time. I have OCD, like I have fear, PTSD about that. So I try and avoid white consoles at all costs. It seems like the SteamOS version is going to be black, so for that alone, I think I'll get the SteamOS. I would get the SteamOS version and then just worry about installing Windows on it later if that's what you wanted to do. And plus, it's nice to have SteamOS out of the gate, right? You can worry about installing Windows later on. It should be really easy. Installing Windows on a handheld device like this, all you need is the USB drive with the Windows on it, plug it in, boot into it, and install it on the hard drive. It should be easier than installing SteamOS, I think. But yeah, looking really nice. Vents in the back, white, very clean, very good. Black on the top, white on the bottom, kind of weird but cool. And it looks like the ROG Ally X, so yeah. So they also say it's not like the SteamOS model is ready now anyhow. Valve co-designers Lawrence Yang and Pierre Lepay-Graffet tell me that they've only been working with Lenovo for a couple of months and the integration isn't quite done. The new touchpad, gyroscope, and both RGB lighting and TDP configuration options are among the things on their to-do list. But the Windows version shipping in January will cost $729.99, so the Windows version will cost more. It will have 32 gigs of RAM, nice, and 1 terabyte of storage. In May, the true experiment will begin, so you're going to get the SteamOS version in May. You can pick between a $499 version with 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, which you should be able to upgrade, by the way, yourself if you want to. That's not a bad option. Or a $599.99 version with 16 gig, 1 terabyte, and Steam Deck OLED. Okay, so yeah. It's kind of interesting here seeing the disparities. So in May, they're going to be having a 16 gig 512 SteamOS version for $499, and then they're going to have a Windows version for $100 more with the same specs. Kind of weird and interesting. So if anything, for SteamOS alone, that's pretty good. I wonder if the extra $100 is for Windows licensing. I don't know. Kind of weird. Obviously, they're comparing it with the Steam Deck, with the Steam Deck costing $399, $549. So this is going to be a little bit cheaper than the $549 Steam Deck OLED. So very interesting. I wish they put 32 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD in the SteamOS version. That's kind of a letdown. Hopefully, should we get the Windows version, we can install SteamOS on it later. And again, the article points out here on The Verge, it does sound like there will be one important reason to pick the Steam Deck over the Legion Go S and vice versa, because AMD's Z2 Go is a different chip. Well, the Z2 Go announced yesterday sheds cores and GPU generations will be slightly more akin to the Steam Deck's semi-custom Aerith and Sephiroth parts. We noted that it targets higher power levels, and Legion Go product manager Alex Su confirms to me that the Legion Go S is aimed at 20 watt performance, 30 watt, maybe even 40 watt configurable performance, damn, which will offer higher performance and lower battery life than the 15 watt and below Steam Deck chip. So basically, as you know, the Z1 Extreme that came out on the ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go, it was a pretty damn substantial performance bump over the Steam Deck's APU. I mean, I saw stark differences between, you know, a game like Stalker 2 running on the Steam Deck, which barely gets in the 20s, and then Stalker 2 running on like the ROG Ally X with the Z1 Extreme. Like night and day performance, almost double the frame rate in certain games that are maybe not too optimized. So now the Z2 will no doubt be an even bigger jump over the Z1 Extreme, and that's the benefit of these third-party handheld manufacturers, you know, releasing consoles a little bit more often than something like the Steam Deck, is the fact that you've got more options and you're constantly getting the latest, greatest hardware in the handhelds, you know, every year. Whereas Steam, you know, it's more like more akin to consoles like the PS5 and Xbox, and the fact that you have to wait several years to get an update or to get upgraded hardware, not including obviously the Steam Deck OLED, which was still it's the same hardware, just with obviously an OLED screen in it and maybe like Wi-Fi improvements. But yeah, kind of interesting. So it says here they're targeting between 2 and 2.5 hours of battery life in demanding heavy games, which lines up with the basic math of dividing a 55 watt hour battery by 20 watts, assuming the rest of the system doesn't eat up a lot more. Versions with AMD's existing Z1 Extreme chip will also be available in some markets. Weird, okay. So the Legion Go S will include the Z1 Extreme chip in some markets. I wonder which. And all Legion Go S's can fit full-length M.2 2280 chips. So that is actually a massive deal. One of my biggest complaints with the Steam Deck OLED is the fact that, you're basically capped out at 2 terabytes as far as the SSD is, because it uses a very small square SSD, NVMe SSD, and they orientate it in a way that you can't obviously fit a full-size one in unless you want it sticking out the bottom of the case, which sucks. So the fact that it's going to support full-sized, full-length M.2s is just amazing, because you're going to be able to install SSDs up to like 8 terabytes if you want to, if you have the money to buy one, which will be insane. 8 terabytes on a handheld gaming PC. Like, the possibilities are endless as far as your game collection is concerned. That is absolutely nuts. And another interesting point here is Valve isn't keeping any key Steam Deck features like pre-compiled shaders to itself or anything else for that matter. Yang and Grafay say it will be one SteamOS, and the Legion OS and any future SteamOS devices will get the same updates as the Deck, minus hardware specific tweaks. Valve tells me Lenovo is currently its only partner for a SteamOS device. There are no third-party SteamOS devices currently in the works, but Grafay hints that Valve is close to publicly releasing a new beta of a SteamOS that just might possibly start working on other handhelds as well. Valve previously confirmed to us that it was building towards some level of support for the Asus ROG Ally and SteamOS as well. I love the ROG Ally. I can't wait to get that Z2 Extreme chip in it. I think it will be absolutely amazing. The ROG Ally served me well when I had one. I loved it. I had to let it go, unfortunately. I had to pick between one handheld because I needed the money at the time. It didn't make sense to have two. But yeah, very interesting. Let me know in the comment section. If you're getting this, are you getting the Windows version or the SteamOS version? I would go for the SteamOS version if it's $100 cheaper, first of all. And then second of all, you'd always install SteamOS. Hopefully they have an avenue to where you can install SteamOS as well on the Windows version if you want to. I mean, I don't see why not, right? It's the same hardware at the end of the day. And this part is kind of key, but the real dream is to pull a PC handheld out of the box and just have it work the way a Nintendo Switch works, not to shoehorn an operating system on it afterward, no matter how good the result. That's why Lenovo is working with Valve. Zoo agrees that SteamOS has the best out-of-box experience, but he says Windows offers a whole ecosystem of gaming and productivity that the company believes its customers still want. I think I could not echo that sentiment more. A lot of people want to be able to connect their Lenovo Legion OS to their monitors, to a keyboard, to a mouse, and run it like a fully fledged gaming PC, maybe do a little bit of work, web browsing, you name it, on it. And having that option is still nice. Not that you can't do that on SteamOS. Obviously, it's a Linux build, so you can go into the desktop mode, but being able to run Windows and run, DRM games with DRM and online anti-cheats, the option to have that's kind of nice. And again, I just wish they'd maybe did a little bit more work in promoting the fact that it could maybe be dual booted, right? And I can't wait to see YouTube guides on YouTube, showing you how to do that on this. So Zoo agrees that SteamOS is an experiment for Lenovo and says it'll look at the feedback and momentum before making its next move. Speaking of what's next, Lenovo is also building a larger Legion Go 2 with detachable controllers and an 8.8-inch OLED screen, and it brought prototypes of that unit to CES, and here it is here, the new Legion Go 2 prototype with a smaller kickstand and more sculpted grips. That's one thing I must say I really wish all handhelds had, and I wish the Legion Go S had that, and that is an OLED display. After playing with an OLED display on my Steam Deck, it's hard to go back to anything else. Like the viewing angles, the colors, the brightness, just the deep blacks and the detail you see in dark scenes, it's just unmatched and uncomparable to any LCD display, IPS display. So I really hope they implement OLED in more and more devices going forward. I would love to have seen it in the Legion Go S. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that. I'm hoping out and keeping my fingers crossed that we see maybe a new ROG Ally with the new Z2 chip with OLED, with 2 or 3 USB-C 4 ports. I think that would be a dream come true. Asus, the next move is yours. For those wondering, whether they would put SteamOS on the new larger Legion Go S or Legion Go 2, they don't have any specific plans right now to put SteamOS on it, but it depends on what customers buy in May. So whatever you buy in May, if the SteamOS version sells more, then Lenovo will be emboldened to ship SteamOS on more of their handhelds. But yeah, and again, don't get your hopes up for a Steam Deck 2 anytime soon, because Grafay says the Z2 isn't the leap that Valve's been waiting for. And there won't be a Z2 Steam Deck, so don't be thinking there's going to be a new Steam Deck around the corner. There isn't. If you want basically a Steam Deck-like experience with the better hardware, better performance, then it looks like your option is going to be either the Lenovo Legion Go S or the Lenovo Legion Go 2, or hopefully Asus released theirs very soon, their new ROG Ally with the Z2. I think they're working on that. I can't wait to see it. Anyways, guys, if you love handheld gaming, please like, subscribe, click the bell icon because we cover it every day on this channel. I'm Blaze2K, and I'll see you in the next one. Are you getting the new Lenovo Legion Go S? Or are you tempted to wait and get the Lenovo Legion Go 2? Let me know in the comments. Peace out.